Justice is a huge concept, but there are ways to bend every little action towards it. I locate my dancing in the midst of everyday life because my dancing is inspired by lived experiences, and I believe dancing can be a force for realizing justice and liberation. My choreographies realize communities around these ideas and recognition of our shared humanness. I hope to capture imaginations, provoke questions, and inspire change.
I'm not a traditional geographer who travels to faraway places. Instead, I use geospatial computing to view the world through the lens of a computer. My research spans from examining the origins of humanity in Africa to analyzing crops and farm fields across Minnesota. In this crop analysis project, we are combining computers with satellites to map each field in the state to discover which crops were planted and monitor their growth. This spectacular bird's-eye view could lead to improvements in agriculture here in Minnesota and potentially the rest of the world.
Advice about how to be happy and achieve well-being is everywhere, but as a philosopher, I'm interested in the deep justification for this advice. What's the recipe that pulls together all the ingredients? I think the recipe for well-being is value fulfillment. The specifics vary from person to person, more salt for some, more carrots for others, and the best cooks can adjust and improvise to put everything together in the best way. Friends, music, family, dogs, these are some of my ingredients. In my research, I'm exploring how we can help each other succeed in what matters to us so we can be happier humans and better friends.
Authoritarian rulers are most often overthrown by the people closest to them. My research is centered around the internal dynamics of authoritarian regimes and how rulers survive threats from their inner circle. In my class, we sometimes play a simple game where a designated autocrat tries to figure out who is with them and who's not. Uncertainty and deception is the norm, and even the strongest ruler cannot escape this fact. Now imagine you are the ruler at the center. Who would you trust, and how do you keep your power?
Nobody really knows what dark matter is. It has never been detected. That's why we are trying to see it using data. I'm a statistician, so my job is to use numbers, formulas, or plots to detect what otherwise would be unobservable. Indeed, the beauty of statistics is that it can be applied to any science. It's also translational. If designed correctly, the same statistical tool can solve many different scientific problems.
Even though yes and no are some of the first words we learn as kids, sexual violence is pervasive, especially in college. The problem isn't about misunderstanding yes and no. It's about a culture of inequity that needs to change. All of us, whether we're aware of it, know someone directly impacted by assault. I'm reevaluating the role universities play in this problem, because a conversation about consent can transform institutions and prevent future trauma.
Ojibwe people believe in the healing power of music and dance. I've discovered that the jingle dress dance and tradition first emerged during a global epidemic of influenza a century ago, one that was devastating to Ojibwe communities. This was also a time when the United States outlawed ritualistic dancing, making the jingle dress dance a radical tradition from its beginning. More recently, jingle dress dancers were at Standing Rock to protest a pipeline project that threatens our water. The tradition is very much alive today, invigorated by the passion and creativity of a new generation of women.